Hey guys, SpaceMarine658 here. Today we're going to be going through our first video in a series where we're going to be creating a triangular slider. And with that, we're going to be stepping through the different stages that are from the design all the way to the implementation, and lastly, the data encapsulation. How do we handle passing data from the UI to actual gameplay mechanics? So let's go ahead and take a look at what our end result should be. As you can see here, I have a missile builder, and if I go ahead and select an engine, I've got a tweak engine option, and from here I've got a 2D slider, but it is designed in such a way that it's triangular. Now, out of the box, Unreal Engine doesn't have support for this, but I've got some cool tools that it does have support for. We're going to walk through getting this all set up, getting it designed, and then actually, creating the thing. But yeah, so by the end of this, you'll be able to have your own 2D triangular slider, or if you want to make it, a square, hexagon, whatever shape you want to make it, it'll just depend on your own skills as a programmer. So let's go ahead and hop into our design software of choice. Now you can use whatever you prefer. Personally, I use the free version of Figma just because it's relatively easy to use. It's what I'm used to using at work, so I already kind of know how it functions. And so it's just a very simple program for me to use, but you can also use Photoshop, GIMP. There's a lot of options when it comes to design software. So let's go ahead and take a look at what we've got here. Usually when I'm designing my UI, I like to start with the actual mechanics. So I'll design my mechanics, I'll design my systems, and then work my way to the UI through sort of exploration. The reason why I do this is because if I spend too much time on planning my UI, I find that a lot of it ends up needing to be changed by the end of it because, maybe mechanics change, or maybe I decided a better way I wanted players to interact with the UI. So I like to save the UI for a little bit closer to last. Not very last, but I'll start working on the UI once I've got some of the mechanics in place. And so you can see here, we've got our little missile builder screen that I went ahead and took a screenshot of. Now, depending on, where you're actually starting with your UI will determine, do you need a screenshot or not? Since I'm building into a menu, I'll need a screenshot of where I want that to live. But let's say you had, UI that you want to be, a whole new screen. You probably could just start with a blank screen or a screenshot of your game. Just something to give you an idea of where this UI is going to live. Now for me, when I'm looking at something like this, I kind of think about, how do I want players to interact with this system? Now, if I'm creating a generic 2D slider, as we're going to hear today, I'm less worried about the specifics for the specific screen, but by using the specific screen, it kind of helped me, kind of hone in on what exactly I want. So I know that I want them to be able to click this engine, have some kind of slider here that they can move the handle around and sort of tweak the engine, right? Maybe there's 3 different values depending on what I want them to actually tweak. So let's go ahead and sort of think about that, right? So we've got our different options here. We're going to create our own little triangle, and then maybe we go, okay, we'll have some kind of gradient. We're not too worried about actually coloring it here, but we'll think about. So then the question comes in, okay, so let's say you've opened up your menu, you've selected your change to your engine you want to make. Well, what do you need next? Well, you need some way to approve or cancel these changes. A lot of times games, if you just don't apply changes, will just let you, back out of it. So we'll say, maybe we want to have an apply changes button, maybe something right here. And then we're going to have some kind of handle. This is going to be, how the actual players interact with our UI system here. Okay. So we're thinking about it, we want them to be able to slide this around. And when they're done, we want them to be able to hit, apply changes. Or if they decide not to apply the changes, they can go back here or even cancel whatever we want to have there. So that is that's about as far as I go insofar as planning the design. Beyond this, then I usually try to move back into my UI, make sure that what I'm trying to do I can do from a technical standpoint, and design it from the actual design side. So In the next episode, we're going to move over to blueprints, and we're going to actually create our widget blueprint. So you can see here we have a 2D designer, or 2D slider. So that's what you have to look forward to in the next video. But until then, good luck and good hunting.